Welcome back for the final step 3 of this case management question from ATD's example questions, one of the two. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the answers yet, that will be shown in just a little bit. As a quick review, if you've already watched the other two steps, what I did for this was to make sure that I had the correct answers and then pulled apart those answers, because I wanted to be able to be very clear about the concepts that the statements were reflecting, and how I wanted to see how the correct answers showed that correctly and how the incorrect answers were distinctly incorrect. This is step 3 and the possible answers for it. The tool that I used to pull these apart for myself was Mind Manager, so I imported them so that I could practice. You can see my practice strategy. I marked my level of certainty, so even the one that I selected as correct, I was not completely certain of it. And the way that I read the question, how should the talent development professional best respond, I expected just one response. That was the one I selected as 1, but there's actually 2 responses to that kind of a question. The question gives the line item proposed training and development budget. So the budget is training, coaching, new services, and miscellaneous. So it's all about budgeting for the training and how should the talent development professional best respond. What I'll show next is the responses, so I won't come back to looking at the budget. Oh, the check marks just show that those two were correct answers. So after receiving questions about the funding request, how should the talent development professional best respond? The way that I pulled apart the 2 correct answers, they had 2 things in common that I saw making them correct. One is that it referred to specific measures, and I'll show you the workforce notes from the previous steps. And the other is it tied again to that strategic goal, and it specifically stated how it tied to the strategic goal. So we can find that from looking back at the previous steps of the workforce notes and the strategic goals. The concept that I saw needing to be applied is for budgeting. The budget needs to link the talent development projects directly to the organization's success. So it needs to state how it makes that link. This first answer in the brown, the fact that employee turnover is 41%, links the research that had been done. So the change that the solution would make. To the strategic goal. The second one links the research that we have about the safety incidents that are occurring. Again, to the strategic goal of safety violations that the organization wants to reduce. Looking at the questions that, or the answers that are incorrect, they pointed to the, I'm matching up, the workforce notes. So where they would affect the retention. So all of them referred in some way to retention, which is employee turnover, but there's no direct tie to the strategic goals. So there's some indication of the impact that the coaching in this one would have, motivate and encourage employees, but that's not tied to a strategic goal. And the next one would have an impact on the bottom line, which sounds like a good thing, but is not tied to the strategic goals. Again, then the last one, coaching would create a work-friendly environment, but it doesn't tie to the strategic goals. So in my mind, it's trying to make a link to something in the business, but it's not linked to directly to the strategic goal in the way it's stated. So just to review, the concept for the budget is to link the talent development project, some measure that we have, directly to the organization's success. And that link needs to be direct. I'll leave this here just in case you want to take a look at one of the correct answers and a couple of the incorrect answers in the information we have of the workforce notes and the strategic goals. And I will just quickly refer to these two were given in the step 1 and step 2, so we had to look back with this question being step 3. And I will end there.